YouTube has been acting weird as hell lately, so sometimes I have sound, sometimes I don't. So let me check that real quick. If you can hear me, we're going to talk about that hot mess of audio because basically, yeah, we've had a lot of people have issues with the hot mess of audio. Come on, let me see the live. Let me see the live, baby. All right. Welcome to the show. We are going to be going over how and what to do if you have audio in your system and how to make it work better and all that stuff. Digital mixer, you saw the picture of it. If you have not, you will see the picture of the digital mixer. And all I'm doing right now is just trying to test the live. I guess I got to grab a laptop because I can't test it. Hi, welcome to the show. Can you hear me? If you can, that's awesome. I just want to check the live because YouTube's been weird on vertical lately and the lives have not had sound. I will be going over how to fix or use audio with analog mixers and cameras today, and also tell you why you should buy a camera with XLR inputs. Because, well, if you're going to be a professional showing up to a wedding or doing anything like this for a job, have the right tools. So let me check the stream real quick to make sure they got audio, or you can comment that we have audio. Hello, can you hear me? Is there good audio today? How you doing, Cage? MMA? Oh, sweet. We just did an event over in Auburn. It was so awesome. It was great. And there was a couple cool knockouts too, so I'm into that. So I guess I don't need this. Cool. Great, you can hear me. So we're going to talk today about how to put audio into one of these properly. So this is an FX30, but you can have an FX3. You can have Canon or whatever else. And I'm going to teach you how to put the audio in here right. Now, there's headphone jack. I'm putting audio, being able to listen to the headphones. But what a lot of times happens is you'll see one of these bad boys. You see that hot mess? You see this? This is what we run into to 90% of the locations I go to. Thank you. Wait, you know Lavoie, don't you? Because he was the one filming there. I came in to help with some of the equipment for that night. And then I got to see the aftermath of some of the fights. Man, that place is freaking awesome. But yeah, I just came in towards the end, and I was there before setup. It was amazing. Cool. So this is the hot mess we normally deal with when we're dealing with a lot of locations. And I call this a hot mess because these were designed before we were live streaming, and these tend to be what are left everywhere. So I'm gonna go through all of these. Oh, you know them too? Oh, that's cool. This is normally your output that would go to your speakers. There's a special cable you can use. It's this one here that could go into a camera. The only difficulty with this, it's a super hot live signal, so you wouldn't want that going at full volume, which is generally what a lot of people do, and that's why their live stream sound, let's just say, not so great. If you're using like a FX3, so if you're using one of these cameras, hold on, flipping this around. If you're using a camera like this that has like XLR inputs, this is probably the way I'm going to show you how to hook this up is going to be the best way for the cleanest sound. And you always want to use XLR in. You can use the main outs, but normally those main outs are used for speakers. There is one that's called auxiliary. And then you can put that in while still keeping your shotgun microphone. So let me flip the camera around. So there's a port up here that says monitor send auxiliary. That is the port that you want to send to your camera, and you want to get a cable that has that big old headphone jack outlook and the one that looks like this to plug into the XLRs. What you would normally do is you plug it into monitor out, and then let me turn this camera a little bit, or turn it down a little bit so you can see. There is a couple of knobs, and they're usually green, and they're called monitors. And you want to turn the volume up on the monitor tracks you want to listen to that go into the live stream or go into your camera. So, for example, we're going to have Bluetooth audio going in this time, and then we may choose like a microphone or whatever else, but that will not be the same send that's going out to the room. So if you just wanted the commentators and maybe, you know, the video of the room, if it's an MMA thing, then that's what you would send on that. And it would plug into, this is the cool part. Hopefully you're enjoying this stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, as I'll answer them all. You would plug those into input 1. Is generally what I would tell you to plug it into. And then when you come over here to your settings, which would be number 1s and number 2s, you'll want to put the setting with a 10 dB pad. That's always a good way to start with a pad, so you know you're not blowing your eardrums out or you're not blowing out the signal. And now let's run some signal through it and see if I get some bars on the camera. So here is cancel. Here's the camera, and you'll see there's no bars here. There's no sound coming through at this point, but watch this. Let me get some sound going in there. Other phone. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. So if you're getting that sound in there, let me get some music in here. We're going to go, what is that? Royalty free, so we don't get in trouble when I put the headphones over this. Royalty free chill music. Thank you for the like. Appreciate it. I have no idea what this is for a song, but we're going to get some audio any which way it goes, and we're going to send some here. Now, I'm going to switch this over to the other camera. Once you set the channels you want the auxiliary to go through, and I'm going to check and make sure there's a signal, so there is actually a signal there. I can see it on these bars going up. Once you set the channel you want it to be on, there's another one called Auxiliary Master, and that's the one you turn up. And then you will actually see a signal on the camera. And it's a clean signal too, which is super nice. It'll sound as good as something that you would do. Hey, Amber. Sounds as good as anything you would hear on television. And right now you can see, come on, flip that around. You can see there's a signal now. Now there is a way to put that signal on both headphones, which would be to put, like there's a switch you can switch, it just does that. All right, so let's see if there's any good sound that's coming out of it. I'm gonna check the headphones and make sure it's not a stupid song. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Let me turn the volume up on these headphones a little bit. So menu. So I'm gonna put the volume onto the microphone. So can you hear that? That's the volume that's coming from the mixer board. Super clean, not too loud. And that's how you would hook up this to the mixer board if you happen to be using that XLR cable. Now, there might be a chance you don't have an XLR cable, or the camera you're using does not have an XLR input, which is in a lot of cases. So say, for instance, you've got somebody who's got an FX3, or they've got an A7 IV, a Canon R5, you know, any one of those where they don't have that input. Kind of makes things a little more difficult. You can still use this type of a cable type thing, but it would be one that looks a lot like this one here. So it would have one of these on one side and it would have this on the other. Now I'm going to be doing this as a one channel only. This cable is also used for another output too, but I'm going to still stick with the auxiliary output. So we're going to go monitor out. I'm going to shut off the mic here. And for those who don't understand what I'm doing right now, it's cool. This is kind of a boring subject matter until you have to really make this work. Now, what you're going to find here is, if you look at my gain on here, it's almost like 2 or 3 on the unit, but I've got really solid signal. That's because the signal that comes out of the line level is super high. way more powerful than a mic level. And as you can see, it's even starting to peak out here a little bit. So one of the tricks that you have to do with this is on the auxiliary. Come on, flip over. On the auxiliary, you're going to turn the volume down a little bit until that gets into a very, very safe area volume-wise for you. So as you can see, I got the volume really low on the mixer itself, but the volume that's coming through on the headphones, on the other hand, that gives you your signal level, still super good. And the level of signal on the camera is still extremely good. Though it's only one channel, it's still extremely good. So you're going to get extremely good sound coming out of there. And that's how you would set up your audio if you only had that jack and the auxiliary jack out there. It's generally going to give you mono signal, but at least you're going to get a clean signal for the live stream. There is a way to turn that mono signal into stereo. I'll show you another time. It's a little adapter. I don't have that one with me right now. I don't have that adapter with me right now. So that's another way you can do it. Who is enjoying this piece of information? Because this may help you for when you're doing live streaming. Now, the next one we're going to do is a funky one, because mixers sometimes have this. So let's just say somebody's using that auxiliary line for a speaker for your DJ. And there's some DJs that know how to use that auxiliary line to have that sound go out to their monitor speaker because they figured out how to do it. Now you're stuck. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck like Chuck. I got no way of getting sound. There is another way to get sound. Most of these mixers have what's called a subgroup, a sub 1 and sub 2. And that's going to be, let me show you that. There's actually 2 more ways to get sound, but one of them really, really sucks. So as we go over here, you'll see this one says sub 1, 2, and then you see main. Now up here, this will say sub 1, 2, and this will say control room. There's a couple of cool things you can do with these different outputs. Number one, if you want in a situation where the subs are being used already and they've got the main volume up like this, there's one of these knobs over here called control room. Now, if you're in control room, that same cable I just showed you that did the audio that was mono, now we're going to have stereo audio. And there's going to be outputs up here that say control room underneath it, left and right. The white cable goes in the left one and the red cable goes in the right one. And then there's this knob right here that says control room. This control room one will now be your audio. So I've got audio coming through here, which will be going out your speakers here and making the room go boom. But you still have a need to get sound out to your camera. And since you don't want it to be like crazy loud because that sound is at like high volume in the room, you want to control it so it doesn't peak your sound. You would plug this in, once again, to this slot. And so you've got it in here. Since I have the volume down, there's no audio, so there's no little signal there. Turn your control room up. Just a hair, and I'll show you here in just a second. Now you'll see, when I turn this control room up, I'm not turning it up very loud. Because once again, this is a line level signal going into a mic level point. So you really only want to turn it up about maybe that much at first to get your signal coming into your camera. And I'll show you right now that that's going to be a very, very good signal. Flip that camera around. Even that little bit of volume, look at how strong that signal is in there. And once again, I don't have the volume up. So out of the 30 volume that this can take for an input, I've got it down to 3. It's because the line level signal is so strong, it will just peak out everything. That's the reason why a lot of times when you hook it through these mixers, yeah, even if you got the sound to come in, it just sounds terrible. you got to turn the preamps down on this, and you've got to make sure the volume is super low on the mixer. And once again, the sound sounds great. Take a listen. And that's the sound that's coming out of the camera's headphone jack. So really, this is how you would hook it up if you wanted to use a control room. Now there's another option. God forbid they're using the control room, because this does happen, where they'll have a signal going to the monitor up here. They'll have the control room going to some speakers in another part of the room that are a little bit different in volume, and have the main speakers going out. So now you're stuck on stupid, like, what am I supposed to do? That's where the sub 1 and sub 2 comes out. Let me show you what we do with that next. So we're gonna pull those cables out, and we're gonna go over how to do sub 1, sub 2. Let me flip this over again. So now we have sub 1, sub 2. This one here. And this 2 jacks right here are sub 1, sub 2. This is another way you can go. Now on this over here, you'll see there's buttons you can push in. Right now, left and right's on, so the left and right sends a signal to the left and right main. If you don't have that pressed in or turned on, there's no signal going out to the speakers. But there's one over here that says 1, 2. Now that 1, 2 lets you select which one of these faders you want associated with 1, 2, which this one is just like the auxiliary one. You get master audio control instead of just getting a mass or whatever the DJ picked. So if you only want the microphones, you don't care about the music in the room, and you just want that for your capture sound, which is actually pretty cool, because sometimes it can be ambient music going on and somebody speaking, and you don't get just that person alone speaking. This allows you to get them separately. So if you press 1, 2, that turns on this fader. So when you turn it up and down. Now there is a button on here that says L, left and right. That actually can match this fader for the exact same signal, but we'll talk about that on another time, but that's generally got to ask questions about that. We plug these once again into the one that says sub out instead of the control room. White one goes into the left, red one goes into the right, or 1 and 2. In that case there. Take the same cable we were playing with before, which is this cable here. Plug it once again into here. And as you can see, there's no signal. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. But if I move the slider up just a little bit, you'll see I get a really, really strong signal. Now, you'll see a lot of audio engineers tell you, on a slider, you have to get the unity or you're not getting your right audio. Let me show you where we're at. Because right now, I'm at really superb audio levels. I am nowhere near unity. This slider is barely up. And it's because the signal going into this camera is a line level signal going into a mic level signal input. So you have to have really low volume on the input and really low volume on the output. Now here's what it sounds like though. Hold on. Sounds super clean. Now, that is how you would set up audio if you had to do it yourself from scratch. Now, there is one more scenario which absolutely sucks, and if this happens to you, you have to have what's called an attenuator. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Hello. You missed all the audio stuff. I'm going to be doing the questions and answers on how to do audio here in just a second. I'm connecting audio to this from a mixer. Nikki's always on, so for everybody that's here, I'm going to go through everything for Nikki. So Nikki, you would start off looking at the mixer, connecting everything in. This would be the output, and then this is your mains. It's a lot to go over again. I'm sorry. This is one of the few times I'm not going to go over every detail. Rewatch the video. You'll find it's pretty cool stuff. So now we got audio going into here. The last way to hook audio in, I'm not going to recommend because, one, if that's the main outputs, you're not going to want to do that. Thanks. Appreciate it. Just woke up from sleep paralysis. I hear you on that. I'm about ready to go to sleep. This is my third cup of coffee. It is 9 o'clock, and I'm still probably going to fall asleep. Okay. Nikki, do you want to know how to hook up a camera from an old school mixer and get the audio to be super clean? I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. I'm going to do it with just the left and rights because I am bone dead tired. So, first off, we're going to look at the mixer. So here's your mixer right here. We're going to do subs 1 and 2. And I remember the camera you have, it has just the headphone jack in, so this will be perfect for you. First off, you need a cable that looks like, hold on, I'm going to show you the cable. That was weird. Sorry about that. That was weird. You need a cable that has this on one side and this on the other side, because this is what's going to plug into your camera. And on the mixer, there's going to be a couple different ports you can plug this into. So I'm going to go over 2 of them real quick so you learn both of them. So we're going to do the sub 1 and 2 first, because that's going to be the one we were already just working on. So generally on a mixer, you're going to see main output right here, which is the one that just kind of puts the sound out the DJ's doing it and trying to get the loud volume. This one's no good to us because it's going to blow out our preamp on our camera, because our camera has a microphone preamp, not a line level preamp. You have a couple choices here. There's these sub outs right here. This is what controls that. That's your sub out. And then you get to choose which one of these sliders is on it. So each one of these has a turn on button. So this is left and right, so putting out to the mains. This is 1 and 2, which will put it out to here. And then slider, if this goes up, it has sound on those. This is sub out. You take the cables, you take the white one goes into number 1, the red one goes to number 2, which would normally be right and left. And then you take this cable here and you plug it into the camera. Now, this is the important part. You always want to make sure that sub slider is down to 0. A lot of times you'll hear from the audio engineer, let's get it to Unity before we hook it up. Do not put it to Unity. It'll blow out your preamps. It'll sound terrible. Now I've got it hooked up. Just so you know, Nikki, sorry about that. You're stuck looking at that. You know, Nikki, look at that. You have a Sony already. I'm at volume 3 for the microphone input. So that's how low you need that microphone input to be. And as you can see, there's no audio levels right now. Now watch this. I'm going to turn the sliders up just a hair, and we're going to get audio levels in there real quick. And let me show you how little we've moved up that slider. That slider went from here to just here. That's all I moved that one there. And I've got signal that is super clean. So yeah, this is the stuff, they don't teach this. You're not going to find this stuff in a regular school. I'm doing a program. All of this stuff I'm teaching now is going behind the paywall, by the way. Here's what it sounds like. Take a listen. Notice, no distortion. Notice, no distortion, no problems there. Sounds super clean. The reason being is because I've got the signal in the right place for the type of signal for the output. And that's how you would do it on this here. Now there's another way, Nikki, which is really one of the ways I like to do it. And you don't have, if I remember correctly, you don't have this handle, do you? Do you have this handle? If you do, cool. If you don't, cool. Now, the next way you would do this is in the control room. Now, the control room is kind of a goofy one here, but it works really good. If you don't care that it's every bit of signal there is, okay, so I'm teaching the right thing. Cool. The next one would be control room. This was actually the easiest one to do, by the way. This is absolutely easy. Brazil, welcome. I love Brazil. Beautiful place. I've met people from Brazil. They are the nicest people I've met. Always willing to feed you, always willing to take care of you. So, Nikki, we're going to be looking at the same cable again. So, I'm going to be kind of rinsing and repeating this. this so everybody else knows too. You need this cable and this cable. So it has to have these two ends and this end on it. If it doesn't have that, this is not going to work right, but we're going to go through it again. Now, once again, you'll see here, these have these inputs here. That's sub outs, and that's control room. Now, control room is attached to this right here, your main. It has its own dial, so you can turn it up and down. Hey, welcome. And now to allow you to turn your volume separate. Now, that will be exactly what the DJ has coming out or whoever the sound engineer has coming out. So you plug these in once again. White one in the left, red in the right. And then you take this cable, once again, and you plug it in to your headphone jack or your mic jack. And you'll see right here, I have no sound. Once again, none or barely anything. It looks like I got a little trinket in there. Once I turn this volume up, just stay here. And I'm going to show you how little I turn this up, by the way, Nikki. Almost nothing. That's the control room volume. Max is over here, so I'd have to turn it all the way over like that. I am barely just turning it here. Now check this out, though. The sound. Take a listen. Do you hear that? Cool, cool, cool. It's all good. You hear that sound there? Super clean. That's how you use a control room, and that comes off of here. Now, there's also another one called auxiliary. Thank you. Appreciate it, Nikki. There's also another one called auxiliary. So if you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm down to no choices here. I'm kind of stuck. I'm in a rut. I don't know what to do. There's only one left. This same cable I've had here this whole time can be used with one more, actually two more, but I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show both of those. This and this cable is still the same. Now, the only difference is when we go to auxiliary or monitor, we're only going to have one of these. So if you've ever seen a DJ with that one monitor by his side and he's got his own little twisty knob to turn it up and down, that's called a monitor. That's so you can have a monitor and listen to the sound. So you plug in only one of these, and this will plug into the camera. But it will only be one side, so either left or right channel. Let me show you where to plug that in. So here's where this one gets kind of goofy. There's usually two of these. So there's one that's called FX send, which is going to be your sound effects sends, and then there's going to be one that says monitor send. So you plug this into the monitor send, and then there is going to be an adjustment you need to make on here. Now, the monitor send is actually the best one to work with because you can actually adjust specifically which one of these tracks you want in and how much volume from that particular track you want, as if it's got its own faders, which that is really a nice piece. So that's why I like the monitor if I can get it, but it's generally working with a DJ. So I put that up, right in the middle, what they call Unity or whatever it is, for the volume of the slider, which would be the same as using this. So where I've got this at is the equivalent of putting it right here. There's another volume, which is this volume right here, and this is called auxiliary master, which goes out to the monitor, and that can turn up and down. Now, you'll find it out, once again, I'm not using much volume, so I'm going to plug this in. And then we're going to look at this. Once again, no sound. So there's no bars going. I'm going to turn the auxiliary up. And now I have sound. And now we only got sound on one side. So you'll see there's only sound on one side. So this headphone does not have sound. This one does. So that's the disadvantage of using the auxiliary like that. But there's an advantage if you have the headphone jack, the XLR handle portion. But you'll have super clean audio that way. Once again, let me show you this. I am not using much volume at all. So I'm really like only like this much volume. So this could turn all the way like this, but I've only got a little bit of it turned. Because of the signal that's coming out, it's just so strong and compared to the microphone jack input. So that's another way. Now the last one I didn't actually go over yet, and this was going to be my bonus. So for anyone who watched this gets the bonus one, and then I'll answer any questions we have, or we'll just talk about what's going on in the world or whatever we want to talk about. So we take the same cables again. So we still got the same ones here, Nikki. You still with me, Nikki? Or do you go, man, this is just way too much information? But same cables again. We're going to go over to what's called the FX Send. Now let me pull this up for you real quick. This is the FX Send right here. That's its slider. Beside it, you will see a button that's usually like a 1 or 2 or an auxiliary, and then this board is 1, 2. You press that button in, and then that can happen too. That is absolutely possible. I don't recommend it. You plug it into this one that says FX Send. Here we go again. We're going to be plugging in to the headphone jack and for the auxiliary jack on here. Once again, we have no audio. None. No audio. All right, you're supposed to be sending me a signal there, buddy. Oh, my bad. Oh, why are you not sending my signal the way you're supposed to? You're not fun. Oh. Well, that's not sending the signal the way it's supposed to. Nope. Ignore that one there. I got to do some troubleshooting as to why that didn't send the signal the way it's supposed to, but it's supposed to. Oh, that's right. It will work on most of the channels except for this one, the channel I have it on because I'm doing Bluetooth in, so they can't put an FX on it, so it doesn't register that it's even a channel. My bad. Forgive me. So all the rest is done. Yes, def cam. All right, so I just went through all of the different ways that you can plug in audio on this, Nikki, and that's how you would do it. There is one more way I would never recommend doing, which is to go off of the left-right send that's on the other piece because you would need a line level hookup. Hopefully that's been helpful for everybody. Well, it should have been helpful because I just gave you like the way you can do it. And that's the same hookup you can use for an ATEM too. So you can actually have the hookups going out to a camera and have a hookups going to an ATEM or a video mixer. That's it. That's the total of tonight's stuff. I'm like 37 minutes into this. So any questions, I will answer those right now. If not, we're going to call this one an early stream for me because I usually go an hour, but man, I am tired. I've had a day. Good meetings and everything. It's just been a long, long day. Nope, no questions? Cool. You're welcome. How informative was that for you? Oh, I went a little bit. How informative was that for you, Nikki? I ain't the one who's going to sleep right away. I still got about 60 different messages I got to get out related to work, so it'll be a couple of hours, but I will be in like brain dead mode doing that. It's pretty easy to do those messages. What did you think of the mixer I got? I got a whole bunch of these sitting around the house too. And then I got all the equipment. I do this for fun and for a job. All right. Wrap some cables up. Well, keep this video saved when you can look at it you know, after it's over with, and then the next time you're on a gig and you've got to deal with one of these analog mixers, you'll get a just a pucks of how to do it with the stuff we're going to be putting behind the Patreon wall. We're actually going to go over multiple different cameras, multiple different settings. So we're going to go over Canons, Sony, Lumix now because they're becoming a little more popular for events type videos, PTZs and a few others, on how to hook them up through an audio system and get the best sound. Be about an hour-long video, but we're going to kind of go through every bit of it, and we're setting them up for technicians so that, you know, be real, there's not a lot of people who know all of this information, and it needs to get somewhere. And it'll save time for people because they can't always afford to hire someone on at $700 to $1,500 a gig for that. Do I use OBS? Depends. Most times, no. If a client requests it, yes. Or if I'm doing a screen record, absolutely, because it's just an easy way to do a screen capture. So if we've got a stream and we want to capture the stream, or if we are capturing audio to see if there's an issue or anything like that, yes, absolutely. Do you use OBS? I also use vMix and Wirecast for hardware on the computer because I'm a Windows-based person. We also have people who use Ecamm on the Mac side, but they're mainly like YouTubers and stuff like that. They use it. And then for web-based services, we've used everything from StreamYard to EVMux, Restream, and then of course the proprietaries. Oh, so you use it for your live streams. Good one to use. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a single platform at a time, whereas what I use for my normal live streams when I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, I use EVMux because I can stream all of them at once. And also, if I lose the internet, I can just resume the stream without any issues. So that's why I use it. Still build scenes exactly the same as I can or fairly similar to what I can in OBS, which is really nice. Which platform do you stream on? Thank you all for joining. You kind of missed all the fun stuff from earlier. So if you rewind the video, it will show you how to do just about anything when it comes to audio from an analog mixer to your camera, which is cool. YouTube. Okay, makes sense. Have you tried the new YouTube feature where you can do both horizontal and vertical if you use a stream key? You have to turn it on, but it lets you have both at exactly the same time. You should try it out. Well, I'm going to be calling it in for the night. Have a good one. I will talk to y'all later. Bye. Appreciate everybody who watched. You could have been doing anything you wanted to do, so for those who stayed on for like 10, 20, and 30 minutes, I appreciate y'all. Peace.